What is up, guys? This is DeepWeb here from iFunny, and I recently gave a persuasion speech in a class of mine on why Bitcoin is a good investment and why I think more people should invest in Bitcoin. And I figured that, hey, this would make a good video, so I'm gonna give the same speech that I gave for you guys. So, investing in Bitcoin, why it's profitable, and how to invest. Alright, so if you don't already know what Bitcoin is, hopefully you do. Bitcoin is a form of digital currency that's encrypted and therefore making it anonymous. I never actually looked up how exactly it's encrypted, but anyway, it's mainly popular on the deep web and illegal trades, but it's also really popular for investing in other markets now, like or Amazon or whatever are now starting to accept it. So, to obtain Bitcoin, you can either mine Bitcoin or exchange it. With mining, basically, to keep it short and simple for you guys, you set up like a really nice fancy computer, and over time, that computer will run algorithms and generate equations and whatnot, and produce Bitcoin ever so slowly. The only problem with that is that it may take a while for you to actually make some money off that, all depending on how good of a setup you have per se. The other way to get Bitcoin is exchange it, or you buy it, or like same thing. So you could either go to somebody like me and for a small extra percent fee exchange it with somebody currency for currency and get it that way, or you can go on a site, sign up, have a weekly limit, and buy it that way. Either way, one of the good things about Bitcoin, is it's not controlled or regulated by the government, which means that it's more regulated by the people because it really depends on, you know, how much Bitcoin people are mining, how much Bitcoin is being exchanged, and in my opinion, I think that Bitcoin, in a lot of ways, is better than the American dollar. And as in the PowerPoint, it's person-to-person regulated, as I mentioned. So, with mining Bitcoins, as I kind of talked about earlier, a Bitcoin rig or whatever can cost anywhere between 600 to 800 to 1,000. It really depends on how good of a rig you want and how quickly you want to generate Bitcoins, because that's what mining is, generating Bitcoins over time. It's like, let's say I might spend $600 in a Bitcoin rig, but I might not make that money back for a couple weeks, couple months. Some people, it takes about a year to generate an entire Bitcoin for some people. Obviously, as you probably already know, it's a longer payout, which means it takes longer for you to get your money back and to actually make a profit out of that, so make some revenue off of it. So with exchanging or buying Bitcoin, it's really simple, and hell, if I had more money, I'd probably be doing a lot more myself with investing in Bitcoins. So with exchanging, you get less for what you pay for because you're exchanging it with somebody who's going to ask for an extra fee, because nothing in this world is done for free. I charge 12%, and I made about $600, $700 in the past couple of months, like 5-7 months or whatever, and that's been all my spending money for me in college. And with exchanging, multiple currencies accepted, so on sites such as localbitcoins.com, you can exchange with a PayPal gift card or a Kroger gift card or an Amazon gift card. It really depends on, think of it like an eBay or a Craigslist, but just like for Bitcoin. Some people would rather prefer cash. Some people prefer PayPal. Some people prefer a check. It all depends on what you have to exchange and what kind of currency that you're willing to exchange. One of the good things about exchanging versus buying is the large amounts. So, as I mentioned on the first slide, you could sign up for like a Coinbase account, but if you just sign up for an account, your weekly limit is only $50 worth that you can exchange in Bitcoin per week. Once you verify a photo ID, that goes up to 150. Once you spend at least once you spend at least 1,000, that goes up to 750. And then once you wait 2 months after that, it goes up to 1,500, which is where I'm at right now. So with people who I exchange, not everybody has an ID to be verified, especially on iFunny, when most of you guys are probably just teenagers or little kids, So now with buying, or I'm sorry, and yet, like, if you exchange Bitcoin or whatever, people can do amounts anywhere between 50 to 500 to 1,000 to a couple thousand. But keep in mind, though, is you get less for what you pay because of that extra percentage fee. Because, like I said, nothing in this world is done for free. That's just how it is. Now, buying Bitcoin. Buying Bitcoin. Fuck. Buying Bitcoin, you get more for what you pay, except there's a limited currency accepted. So typically with Coinbase, it's either coming out of a credit card or a debit card or something, or your own bank account. You can't really do checks. You can't do gift cards. I'm not sure if prepaid gift cards work, but so you kind of have limited options as far as where am I going to get this money from and how am I going to exchange it. And the one downside of buying Bitcoin versus exchanging is, like I said, with exchanging, is that when you first start buying Bitcoin, like straight up, the only extra fees that you will have to ever pay is the network fee and the transaction fee. With Coinbase, the transaction fee is 4 cents per dollar, and the network fee is usually about 40-50 cents. So for like $50 worth of Bitcoin, that would be about like $52 plus 40 cents for the network fee or whatnot. But there's a limited amount in which you can exchange or get per week, as not with exchanging. How do I invest in Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a lot like a stock market. It comes and it goes, and it fluctuates quite often. So I know that the last time it was like just under 1,000, because right now I think one whole Bitcoin is worth about 1,200. The last time it was down to like just under 1,000 was back in like February, January. If I had extra money then, I totally would have gotten some Bitcoin. It really makes sense to, if you're gonna invest in Bitcoin, try and keep it as close to a whole Bitcoin as possible, because that's like, if a whole Bitcoin right now was worth $900, okay, I would spend 900, and then when it goes back up to, say, however large I think it's going to get up to, I would then sell that. So if I got one back then and sold it now, I would have made approximately $200-$300, really. And back in, I think, the fall of last year, it was down to about like 700, because there was a bunch of Bitcoin wallets that got hacked and it plummeted like a lot. And back in like 2012, 2013, it was worth roughly between like 300 and 500. And like that was like the prime time to get Bitcoin and sell it now. But I didn't really get involved in the deep web stuff until like 3 years ago, so I came kind of late to the party. Um, but to summarize it up, buy when the value is low, sell when the value is high. It's it's that simple. And make sure that you have a secure Bitcoin wallet with two-factor authentication, as well as it requiring a text message code or something just to log in. So as you can see here, this is kind of a chart of how the value of Bitcoin has gone over time throughout the years, from like 2012 to 14 to 16 to now. So like, as you can see, back in like 2012, 13, or maybe even 2010, it was roughly about $400 worth for one Bitcoin. And if you got, let's say, I'm shit at math, so I'm just gonna open up my calculator here. So let's say if you, back into 2010, if you got, let's say, 5 whole Bitcoins. So that's 400 times 5 is 2,000. So And then if they're worth 1,200 now, that's that's 5 bitcoins. So that's 1200 times 5 minus 2,000. If you bought Bitcoin back in 2010 and you bought like 4 bitcoins for $400 each, and you sold that now, you would have made 4,000 bucks. Easy, simple. The only problem is that with the fluctuating markets of Bitcoin, you never really know when it's going to drop or when it's going to go up. So it's kind of like the show Pawn Stars, where they get something sold to them or they buy something, but they may not make that money back until whenever somebody, I guess, decides to buy it off of them. It could be weeks, it could be months. You never really know. It could even be years in some cases, as according to the chart. With me, like I said, I've made about $600 to $700 in the past like 6-7 months, and all thanks to iFunny, because I'm actually smart. Because technically, you really can't make money off iFunny, not like YouTube or whatever. But because of my subscribers and I have a large audience who would actually read and see my stuff and see my works and my posts and what I talk about, is I use that to my advantage, and I get people to, exchange Bitcoin through me. I don't need an ID, because also, any other site who you exchange person to person with, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, they will require a photo ID with a picture of yourself. And I have an enhanced state ID because I went to Canada one time, and this is what I have. It's an enhanced driver's license. I went to the Secretary of State's and I had to get it. So, but yeah, and it's like many of you don't have an ID. So that's why people go through me. But anyway, guys, I hope you found this presentation helpful, and I know that I was a lot more shaky when I went up there in class, because it's like, if I'm talking to you guys or myself or like a friend one-on-one or something like that, I have like no problem in talking at all. Anyway, guys, thanks you. I can't talk today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being subscribed. And please leave a like in the video and a comment down below. Maybe give us some feedback. I don't know. Did you like it? Did you find it was useful? Did you not? And yeah, see you guys later.